Okay, part 2. I accidentally started it over. I was just noticing that this figure is exactly the same as the one in the notes. So we'll give you a different one on Tuesday. All right, so number 6, find the scale factor from the smallest figure to the largest one in both of these. So these are similar polygons, and the angles have been marked. I mean, this one hasn't, but we know that these two are going to be congruent because these are parallelograms. Okay, let's find the scale factor from the smallest to the largest. Well, this is the smaller figure and this is the larger figure. And we just need to find one pair of corresponding sides. And I see that this side right here would correspond with this one. So I can write a ratio from the smallest one, 18, over the bigger one to 24. So there's the ratio, or the scale factor. We couldn't use this one because there's no measurement here, and we couldn't use this one because there's no measurement here. We'll use the one where there's a measurement for this side and this side. Divide by 2, we get 9 over 12. It's still not simplified enough, so we'll divide by 3, and we get 3/4. And that's the scale factor from the smallest to largest. It's just the ratio of the corresponding sides. Let's find some corresponding sides here so we can find a ratio. Let's see, we have a 9 in here between the 1 and the 4, but we don't have any measurement here between the 1 and the 4. So we can't use those two sides. We have the 12 here, which is between the 1 and the 2 tick marks. So this one and this one correspond. Do you see that? You could also have used, and I'll use a different color, you could have also used these two sides, 12 and 16, because those are corresponding sides. They both fall between the congruent angles here. So I'm going to use this pair, and I'm going from smallest to largest. So I'm going to put 9 to 12. Right, small goes on top, largest goes on the bottom. And I'm going to simplify that. Divide by 3, and we get 3/4. Just turns out that these have the same scale factor, but that was just an accident. Okay, number 7, we're going to use proportions with the scale factor to find the missing sides. So these are all similar polygons, and that means we have corresponding congruent angles and corresponding sides that are all proportional. All right, so I'm going to find the scale factor. Let's see how we're going to do this. We're going to set up a proportion, and we need to find x. So x corresponds with which side over here? It falls in between the G and the H, these two congruent angles. And look, these two angles as well are congruent to each other this way. So x corresponds with 13. So I can put x and 13 together. Those two sides correspond. Now I need to find another pair that corresponds to sit over here. I'm going to do 13 and 26. And notice I'm going in the same direction. I'm going from the smaller to the larger. You could go from the larger to the smaller, and then your proportion would look like this. Okay, if you went from the larger to the smaller and larger to the smaller. But I'm going from smaller to larger and smaller to larger. All right, there's my proportion. Now I cross multiply and solve. So 26x equals 13 times 13, which is 169. I'm going to take 169 and divide it by 26. So x equals 169 divided by 26. Now I don't know if that's an even number, so I'm going to take a look on my calculator. And I get 6.5. Now if you used this fraction, that's okay, but you have to simplify it. And it looks like it has a common factor of 13. So you would get 13 over 2. And that would be okay too. Okay. For B, I'm going to let you try that one. Let's do C. Again, we're trying to solve for x, so we need to find the corresponding sides. Here I have x, and x is going to be corresponding with the 2 because this goes between the 1 curvies and the 2 curvies. So x corresponds with 2, so I'm going to write that as a ratio. And that needs to equal, let's look at this one, 12 to 7. This side corresponds with this side. So x and 2, I'm going to go ahead and color that. These two sides are corresponding, so I wrote them as a ratio, x to 2. And then 12 to 6, excuse me, 12 to 7 is another pair right there. And now we have a proportion, because this ratio has to equal this ratio. These are similar polygons. So this ratio has to equal this ratio, has to equal this ratio, has to equal this ratio. Well, I'm just going to use two of them, this one to this one, as this one is to this one. Cross multiply to get 7x equals 24. Okay, divide by 7, and we get x equals 24 over 7. Okay, now letter D, I'm going to set it up and you're going to solve it. So we have similar polygons again, corresponding angles. I noticed that the 3x plus the 1 corresponds with the 15. So 3x plus 1, I can write a ratio from 3x with 3x plus 1 and 15. And I'm going to set that equal. I'm making a proportion, remember to solve. I'm going to set that equal to, I can't use this one and this one because there's no measurement here, but I could use the 8 and the 12. So I can use this one and this one. So since I went from small to big, then I'm going to go from small to big here, 8 to 12. And then we're going to cross multiply and solve. Now remember, when we set this up, it's 8 times 15 equals 12 times, this is a quantity of 3x plus 1. You must put it in parentheses. Okay. And then we solve this. 8 times 15 is 120. And that equals, now we're going to distribute, 36x plus 12. Distribute 12 times 3x and 12 times 1. Now I'm going to subtract 12, and this is going to be 108 equals 36x. And I don't know if that's an even number or not. 108 divided by 36 equals 3. If I divide both sides by 36, I get x equals 3. Now if I'm going to find the missing side here, I take that 3 and I put it in here to see what this length should be. So 3 times 3 plus 1 is 10, right? Because that's 9 plus 1. So this side is 10. The answer is 10. Solving each proportion, you need to use cross multiplication. And I'm going to let you do that. Okay? Give those a try. Remember, cross multiply. So you give these a try and see how it goes. Okay, number 9. The ratio of the measures of the sides of a triangle is 3 to 5 to 7. The perimeter is 450. Okay, so I'm going to take 3 and multiply it times x by and the 7, right? We're going to put that x in there. Well, all of these have to equal. Okay, so we can set up our equation. This side plus this side plus this side are all going to equal 450. Remember, the perimeter is adding up all the sides. This is 8, this is 15x equals 450. So x equals 30. And if we were asked to find the measure of each side, then we need to take 30 and multiply it by 3, 30 and multiply it by 5, and 30 and multiply it by 7. So 3 times 30 is going to be 90. 5 times 30 is going to be 150. And 7 times 30 is 210. And that's going to be the lengths of the sides. Okay, number 10. You're going to do something very similar. 1x, so we're just going to put x, plus 2x, plus 3x, plus 4x, plus 5x. What does that all equal? If the ratio of the measures of the angles, so these are all angles of a pentagon. So what's the sum of the interior angles of a pentagon? Well, you have to use this formula to find the sum of the interior angles so you know what to add these up to. Well, this is 5 minus 2 is 3 times 180. That's 540. So all of these have to add up to 540. Now you can just add these up. This is 3, 6, 10, 15x equals 540. And 540 divided by 15 is equal to 36. So x equals 36. So now you need to find the measure of each angle. Well, 1 times x, I'm going to let you do this. So 1 times 36, 2 times 36, 3 times 36, 4 times 36, and 5 times 36. And that's going to be your answer. This should be a 36, not an x. But let's just say that's 36 right there. Now you do the rest. 2 times 36, and that's going to give you the measures of all the angles. 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x. And they should all add up, by the way, to 540. Okay, the ratio of complementary angles is 4 to 1. All right, well, let's find out what those measures are. We can put an x there, 4x to 1x, right? And then we can rewrite that as 4x plus x, and since they are complementary, they must equal 90. So 5x, right? 4x plus 1x is 5x. That equals 90. And x equals 18. So the small angle here is 18, because x equals 18. So the small angle is 18. And the bigger angle is 4 times 18, which is 62. So the two angles are 18 and 62. Now it asks you a bunch of things. Find the supplement of the larger. So that means if you want to find A, the supplement of this one, then you have to take 180 and subtract 62. And you'll get something. Now it says to find the supplement of the smaller one. So B is going to be 180 minus the smaller one, and you're going to get something. And then C asks you to put those two numbers as a ratio. So see how you do on that. And then simplify it. This is review here. Find the interior angle sum for a 20 gun. I'm going to let you do that one. I'm going to give you a hint. For this, you're going to use the S sub I formula and solve. And for this, you're going to need to remember that the exterior angle sum always equals 360. This is asking for each. This is actually an each question. So how much is each interior angle? How much is each interior angle of a regular decagon? Well, first you have to do S sub I equals 10 minus 2 times 180 to find the interior angle sum, which is 8 times 180, which is 1440. So first I find the interior angle sum, and then I take that interior angle sum and divide it by 10, and that will tell me how much the interior angle is, each one. And that is 144. Well, then each exterior angle, you could do it two ways. You could take 360, because the exterior angle sum is 360, and divide it by 10, which gives you 36. So that's the exterior angle. This is the interior angle. Or you could have just said 180 minus 144, and that would give you the exterior angle. Because remember, these have to be supplementary. To find the number of sides of a polygon with interior angle sum, this is interior angle sum, so we're going to use S sub I equals n minus 2 times 180. So I'm going to take 5400 and substitute it in for the S sub I, and we're going to solve for the n. So I just took this formula, and I know that the sum is 5400, so that goes there. Now, how many sides does it have? Well, divide both sides by 180. And 5,400 divided by 180 equals 30. This is 30 equals n minus 2. And then to get n by itself, I just add 2, and I get n equals 32. And number 15, if each interior angle of a regular polygon is 160, find the number of sides. I'm going to show you the easy way. So we write an unfinished gon, and the interior angle is 160, and this is a regular polygon, so every angle is going to be 160. Well, that means the exterior angle is 20. So to find the number of sides, I can just take 360 for my exterior angle sum, divide by 20, and that's going to tell me how many sides or angles it has. That's 1, 8, 18. It's going to have 18 sides. Okay, I hope I see you soon, and I hope you have a great long weekend. Bye.